66 million years ago, the dinosaurs were wiped out forever. At least, that's what we were told. But what if some survived, hidden deep in forests, beneath the oceans? Because the terrifying truth is, you may have seen a dinosaur today.
Part 1. The World Before the Fall. 66 million years ago, Earth belonged to giants, long before humans built cities, before the first civilizations, before even the earliest ancestors of mankind. This planet was ruled by creatures so powerful, so strange, and so perfectly adapted to survival that they dominated life for over 165 million years. Dinosaurs. They were not just giant reptiles wandering empty deserts like old movies suggest. They were the masters of entire ecosystems. They lived in forests thicker than anything we know today, across endless floodplains, beneath towering fern jungles, along warm inland seas, and across continents that looked nothing like our modern world. This was the late Cretaceous period, the final chapter of the age of dinosaurs. The climate was warmer, sea levels were higher, there were no polar ice caps. Even Antarctica was covered in forests. North America was split in two by a massive inland sea. Africa was isolated. South America was still wild and unfamiliar. India was an island drifting toward Asia, and everywhere, dinosaurs ruled. On land, one predator stood above all others. Tyrannosaurus rex, massive, intelligent, built like nature's perfect killing machine, with bone-crushing jaws powerful enough to shatter steel by today's standards. T-Rex was not simply a hunter. It was an apex force of nature. Nearby roamed Triceratops, a walking fortress with 3 horns and a shield-like skull built for defense. Then there were the armored ankylosaurs, the swift raptors covered in feathers, towering hadrosaurs moving in giant herds, and enormous titanosaurs whose footsteps shook the earth itself. But dinosaurs did not only rule the land. Above the skies flew giants, pterosaurs. Some had wingspans wider than small airplanes. Creatures like Quetzalcoatlus could soar across entire continents, watching the world below like ancient dragons. And beneath the oceans, another kingdom waited. The seas were ruled by monsters. Mosasaurs, massive marine predators with jaws full of curved teeth, capable of swallowing prey whole. Ancient sharks, giant sea turtles, predators so large they made modern great whites look small. This was not just a prehistoric world, it was an alien Earth, a planet where survival meant strength, speed, armor, or absolute terror. And for millions of years, it worked. Generation after generation, the dinosaurs adapted, evolved, and thrived. They survived volcanic eruptions, changing climates, continents breaking apart. They had become the most successful rulers life had ever produced. Nothing could stop them, or so it seemed. Because while the dinosaurs ruled the earth, far beyond the sky, something was already coming, something silent, something unstoppable, a rock from space, traveling millions of years through darkness, heading toward one destination, Earth. And in a single day, everything would change forever. Part 2. The Day the Sky Fell. It happened in an instant. One ordinary day in the late Cretaceous. The sky became death. A massive asteroid, nearly 10 kilometers wide, was racing toward Earth at over 70,000 kilometers per hour. Faster than a bullet. Faster than anything life on this planet had ever seen. It struck near what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. The impact site is known today as Chicxulub. But at that moment, it was the center of the end of the world. The collision released more energy than billions of nuclear bombs. The ground vaporized. Entire forests disappeared instantly. Anything living within hundreds of kilometers was simply erased. The shock waves circled the planet. Earthquakes shook continents. Mega tsunamis rose higher than skyscrapers, crashing across coastlines with unstoppable force. Molten rock blasted into the atmosphere, falling back to Earth like fire from the heavens. Global firestorms ignited, the skies burned, the oceans boiled near the impact zone, and yet, the worst was still coming. Because the real killer was not the explosion, it was the darkness. Dust, ash, and sulfur filled the atmosphere, blocking sunlight across the entire planet. For months, possibly years, sunlight vanished, temperatures dropped, plants died, forests collapsed, the food chain shattered. Herbivores starved first, then the carnivores followed. Even the kings of the earth, Tyrannosaurus rex, Triceratops, the giant marine reptiles, could not fight starvation. Size became a curse. The larger you were, the harder it became to survive. And slowly, the age of dinosaurs ended. Nearly 75% of all life on Earth disappeared. One of the greatest mass extinctions in history. An apocalypse so complete, it reshaped evolution forever. Or at least, that is the story we all know. The dinosaurs died. The mammals inherited the Earth. And the chapter was closed. Simple, clean, finished. But nature is rarely that simple. Because extinction is not always absolute. Sometimes, survival hides in the smallest places, in the shadows, underground, beneath the oceans, inside forests no fire could fully reach. And sometimes, the creatures most likely to survive are not the strongest, but the smallest. The quiet ones, the overlooked ones, the ones no one notices. And that raises a terrifying possibility. What if the asteroid did not kill them all? What if some dinosaurs did not disappear? What if they adapted and never truly left?
Part 3. What if some survived? When we imagine extinction, we picture total disappearance. A clean ending. One moment alive, the next gone forever. But real extinction rarely works that way. Nature is messy. Survival is unpredictable. And history has shown us something surprising. Life is incredibly difficult to erase. When the asteroid struck Earth 66 million years ago, the planet became a nightmare. Fire above, darkness below, food disappearing everywhere. For giant dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus rex, survival became nearly impossible. They needed enormous amounts of food, huge territories, stable ecosystems. When the plants died, everything above them collapsed. But smaller creatures had advantages. They needed less food. They could hide. They could burrow underground. They could survive on seeds, insects, roots, or whatever remained. Some could shelter near rivers, inside caves, or deep within dense forests where the devastation was less immediate. Others may have lived near the poles, where ecosystems were already adapted to harsh seasonal darkness. And then there were the oceans. The deep sea is one of the strangest survival zones on Earth. Even today, we know more about the surface of Mars than parts of our own ocean floor. Life there depends less on sunlight and more on chemical ecosystems, deep water food chains, and extreme adaptation. Could ancient reptilian lineages have survived there longer than we realize? Some scientists believe marine reptiles like mosasaurs disappeared completely, but the deep ocean still produces creatures that feel almost prehistoric. Giant squids, frilled sharks, coelacanths, a fish once believed extinct for over 60 million years, until it was found alive. Imagine that, an animal declared gone by science, simply waiting in silence, far from human eyes. If one creature could do that, could others have done the same? Remote islands also tell strange stories. Isolated ecosystems often preserve ancient life. Komodo dragons survived on islands. Ancient birds evolved in secret. Species thought impossible continued quietly for millions of years. And then there are the forests. Places like the Congo Basin, the Amazon, Papua New Guinea. Vast wilderness where entire species remain undiscovered. Even today, new animals are found there. Creatures humans had never officially recorded. So the question becomes unsettling. If something large, rare, and ancient still existed, would we even know? Or would we simply call it a myth, a monster, a legend? Stories of giant reptiles, lake creatures, shadowy beasts in the jungle, nearly every culture has them. Most are dismissed as folklore, but folklore often begins somewhere. A sighting, a memory, a truth that survived as a story. Perhaps the dinosaurs did not vanish in one final moment. Perhaps they scattered. Some perished, some adapted, some became smaller, faster, smarter, and some may have disappeared into places we still struggle to reach. Hidden not by magic, but by evolution. And among those survivors, one group would achieve something extraordinary. They would not merely survive. They would conquer the modern world, not as monsters, not as giants, but as something so ordinary. We barely notice them at all. Birds, the last living dinosaurs. Part 4. The survivors changed. If someone told you that dinosaurs still exist today, you might imagine hidden monsters deep in the jungle, a giant predator in some forgotten valley, a beast waiting beneath the ocean. But the truth is stranger than fiction. You have already seen one. Maybe this morning, on a rooftop, in a park, outside your window. Because birds are dinosaurs. Not descendants of dinosaurs. Not distant relatives. Actual living dinosaurs. This is not theory. This is one of the strongest conclusions in modern paleontology. The evidence is overwhelming. The connection begins with a group called theropods, two-legged predators that included creatures like Velociraptor and the mighty Tyrannosaurus rex. These dinosaurs had hollow bones, three-toed limbs, wishbones, air-filled skeletons, and feathers. Yes, feathers. Long before birds filled the skies, many dinosaurs already wore feathers, some for warmth, some for display, some perhaps for gliding. Fossils discovered in China changed everything. Perfectly preserved dinosaurs with feather impressions still visible in stone. Creatures that looked like a bridge between reptiles and birds. One of the most famous was Archaeopteryx, a creature with wings, feathers, and the ability to glide, but also teeth, claws, and a long dinosaur tail. It was not fully bird, not fully dinosaur. It was both, a living transition, and it proved something extraordinary. Birds did not appear after dinosaurs. They were dinosaurs. They evolved gradually, over millions of years, from small feathered hunters. And when the asteroid came, their size saved them. Small-bodied, adaptable, able to eat seeds and insects, capable of rapid reproduction. They survived where giants could not. While T-Rex vanished, its smaller feathered cousins endured. Generation after generation, they changed. Teeth disappeared, beaks evolved, wings became stronger, bodies became lighter, forests returned, skies reopened, and the survivors spread everywhere. Today, there are over 10,000 species of birds on Earth, from hummingbirds to eagles, from penguins to ostriches. Every one of them is part of the dinosaur family tree. Every pigeon on a city sidewalk, every crow watching from a power line, every chicken on a farm, living dinosaurs. The same bloodline that once ruled the Cretaceous world. And sometimes, the resemblance is impossible to ignore. Some birds still carry the ancient look. Predatory eyes, massive claws, violent hunting instincts, creatures that feel less like birds and more like something that survived from another age. And once you see them, you cannot unsee it, because some dinosaurs did not just survive. They still look the part, and they are far more terrifying than most people realize. Part 5. Dinosaurs. Still among us. Look closely at the modern world, and the dinosaurs begin to reveal themselves. Not in museums, not in fossils, but alive, walking, hunting, watching. Some of them are so ordinary, we ignore them. Others look so ancient, They feel like mistakes left behind by time. Take the shoebill. Standing over 4 feet tall, with a massive beak shaped like a prehistoric weapon, the shoebill looks less like a bird and more like a creature that should be stalking swamps 65 million years ago. Its stare is unsettling. Its movements are slow and deliberate. It hunts silently, waiting motionless before striking with terrifying speed. Fish, snakes, even baby crocodiles. The shoebill does not behave like a modern bird. It feels ancient. Then there is the cassowary. Native to the rainforests of Australia and New Guinea, it is often called the most dangerous bird on Earth. And for good reason. It stands nearly 6 feet tall, with dagger-like claws strong enough to cause serious injury. Its helmet-like casque, thick muscular legs, and powerful kick make it feel closer to a velociraptor than anything found in a pet store. It does not fly. It does not need to. It dominates the forest floor. Then we have the ostrich, the largest bird alive today. Fast enough to outrun many predators, powerful enough to defend itself, and built like a surviving blueprint from the dinosaur age. Its legs alone tell the story, pure theropod design. Even the humble chicken carries the shadow of giants. Scientists have often joked, if you shrink a Tyrannosaurus rex, give it feathers, and remove the teeth, you get something surprisingly familiar. A chicken. It sounds ridiculous, until you compare the skeletons, the hips, the legs, the wishbone, the posture. The connection becomes undeniable. Your dinner table is closer to the Cretaceous period than most people realize. And then there are birds of prey. Eagles, hawks, owls, predators with forward-facing eyes, silent hunting techniques, and precision attacks. Modern skies still belong to hunters. The instincts never disappeared. Only the scale changed. Even crocodiles, while not dinosaurs themselves, are close relatives from the same ancient archosaur family. They survived the same extinction event. They watched the dinosaurs fall, and they remained, nearly unchanged. Living fossils, proof that evolution sometimes decides not to improve perfection. Then, there is the deep sea. Creatures like the frilled shark with rows of needle-like teeth and an eel-like body look like something dragged from prehistoric nightmares. The horseshoe crab has existed for hundreds of millions of years, older than the dinosaurs themselves. Some animals are not descendants of prehistory. They are prehistory, still here, still surviving, still reminding us that extinction is often less complete than we imagine. The world is full of ancient survivors, some obvious, some hidden, some flying over our heads every single day. And once you realize birds are dinosaurs, the entire planet changes. The pigeons in the city, the crows on the streetlights, the gulls screaming near the ocean. You are not watching modern animals. You are watching the final chapter of the dinosaur story. But humans have always suspected that something bigger remained. Not just birds, not just crocodiles. Something larger, something hidden. And that belief gave birth to legends across the world. Stories of monsters, lake beasts, jungle giants, creatures science calls impossible. But people continue to report anyway. And sometimes, those stories become difficult to ignore. Part 6. Myths, Legends, and Hidden Giants. Every culture on Earth has stories of creatures that should not exist. Massive reptiles in deep rivers, winged beasts in forgotten mountains, monsters beneath dark lakes. Most people dismiss them as myths. But myths are rarely born from nothing. Somewhere, someone saw something, and the story survived. In the Congo Basin of Central Africa, one legend has refused to die. A creature called Mokolembembe, described as a large, long-necked animal living deep within remote swamps and rivers. Some compare it to a small sauropod dinosaur. Witnesses describe powerful bodies, thick tails, and a creature that avoids humans while remaining hidden in inaccessible jungle. Scientists remain skeptical. There is no confirmed evidence, no bones, no verified photographs. But the legend persists, generation after generation, and the Congo remains one of the least explored regions on Earth. Then there is the Loch Ness Monster, perhaps the most famous mystery creature in modern history. Sightings of a long-necked animal in the dark waters of Loch Ness, Scotland have lasted for decades. Most explanations point to misidentification, hoaxes, or ordinary wildlife seen under unusual conditions. And yet, people keep looking, because deep water awakens ancient fears. We know what lives on the shore. We fear what lives below. The ocean carries even stranger mysteries. Giant squid were once considered sea myths, stories told by sailors, monsters with impossible tentacles, until science proved they were real. Colossal squid followed, creatures so large they remained hidden for centuries. If monsters like that can exist, what else remains unseen? The truth is simple. Our planet is still full of unknowns: dense forests, deep trenches, remote caves, polar darkness. There are places on Earth where human eyes have barely reached, and nature does not need our permission to continue existing there. But perhaps the greatest mystery is not whether giant dinosaurs still hide in secret. Perhaps the real mystery is why we imagine dinosaurs as gone at all. Because they are not. Not really. They changed form. They adapted. They became smaller, lighter, faster. They traded teeth for beaks, scales for feathers, roars for songs. And in doing so, they achieved something far greater than survival. They became invisible, accepted, ordinary, which leads to the final truth. The most successful dinosaurs on Earth are not hidden in jungles. They are everywhere. And once you understand that, you can never look at the sky the same way again. Part 7. The Final Truth. For most of human history, dinosaurs have represented endings, lost worlds, extinction, failure to survive. We imagine them as rulers who were erased, kings brought down by a single moment from the sky, a warning from history, a reminder that even the most powerful creatures can vanish. But that story is incomplete. Because extinction did not end the dinosaur age, it transformed it. The giants fell, the world changed, and in the silence that followed, the survivors adapted. Not through strength, not through size, but through flexibility. Small bodies, feathers, speed, intelligence, flight. They became something new, something so familiar we stopped noticing. Birds, the final living dinosaurs. Right now, outside your window, a pigeon may be walking across a sidewalk. It's a sight so common, we barely register its ancient rhythm. A crow may be watching from a tree, its intelligent eyes missing nothing. A hawk may be circling silently above a highway, a master of two worlds, the concrete below and the open sky above. We see them every day, these fleeting shapes, so familiar they almost become invisible. And somewhere in a rainforest, a cassowary still moves like a relic from a forgotten world. Its every step echoing a deep prehistoric past. In an African swamp, a shoebill waits motionless like an ancient predator, a living statue carved from patience and time. In the dark water, a crocodile drifts, a true witness from another age who saw the world change but barely changed itself. We look at fossils in museums and think of a world that is gone. We see these creatures and think they are merely reminders of dinosaurs. But they are not reminders. They are dinosaurs, the direct descendants of the survivors, living proof that the apocalypse was not absolute, and that life, in its fierce, brilliant tenacity, always finds a way. We often imagine survival as a grand, dramatic spectacle, a final, desperate stand against overwhelming odds. But the truth is, survival does not always look dramatic. More often than not, it is quiet. Sometimes it looks ordinary, unfolding in the unnoticed corners of the world. Sometimes it looks as simple and unassuming as a sparrow. In their feathered descendants, we see a profound truth carried across 66 million years. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson the dinosaurs ever taught us. Survival belongs not to the strongest, the largest, or the most fearsome titans of an age. It belongs to the adaptable, the resilient, to the ones willing to change. The asteroid ended an empire of giants, but it did not erase a bloodline that had already learned to take to the skies. It simply rewrote the story on a smaller, more delicate scale. And maybe that is why we remain so fascinated by dinosaurs. They are a mirror to our own world, a testament to both immense power and profound fragility. Because deep down, in their story of loss and continuation, we sense something true about our own. They are not entirely gone. They are still here, in the forests, in the skies, on rooftops, on farms, in city streets. The last dinosaurs never left. They learned to fly. So the next time you hear wings overhead, pause, look up. Because you are not just watching a bird. You are looking at the final descendants of the greatest rulers this planet has ever known. A survivor of the apocalypse, a living dinosaur. And the story is still unfolding. So what do you think? So, we're left with a tantalizing question. Did some dinosaurs, against all odds, survive the cataclysm? Could they be lurking in places we still haven't fully explored, like the vast, uncharted jungles of the Congo? Could ancient creatures still hide in the deepest forests, or glide through the crushing darkness beneath the oceans, mistaken for monsters in sailors' tales? Or is the truth even stranger, and more beautiful? What if they never truly disappeared at all, and we see their direct descendants every single day, soaring in our skies and singing in our trees? What do you believe? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring mysteries like this, where science meets the edge of the unknown, I invite you to subscribe to the channel because sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the ones that turn out to be true.